spying on us. The US military spoke about a huge object in space, the interstellar asteroid, Oumuamua, which flew through the solar system in 2017, may have been a giant alien mother station. This was stated by specialists from the US Department of Defense involved in the study of UFOs. Scientists have other versions of the unusual properties of the object. Breaking the laws of gravity. It is possible that the solar system is periodically visited by starships sending reconnaissance probes to the planets. Abraham Loeb, director of the Institute for Theory and Computation at the Harvard-Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics, former head of the Department of Astronomy at Harvard University, and Sean Kirkpatrick, head of the Pentagon's Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Department, write in the report, one of these motherships, in their opinion, could be the interstellar object 1I, Oumuamua, discovered on October 19, 2017 by the Pan-STARRS telescope in Hawaii. At first, Oumuamua, Scout in Hawaiian, was thought to be a comet that flew from interstellar space. The object was moving with non-gravitational acceleration, but Oumuamua did not have clouds of dust and gas, a cometary coma that, when approaching the Sun under the pressure of light, stretches out, forming a characteristic tail. Therefore, it was reclassified as an asteroid. However, the unusual trajectory, low reflectivity and flat cigar-shaped shape, length about 200 meters with a width of no more than 20, are completely unusual for asteroids. The object moved along an open hyperbolic orbit, a slingshot trajectory, at a speed unattainable for earthly spacecraft, about 26 kilometers per second. Calculations showed that it arrived from the vicinity of the star Vega in the constellation Lyra 25 light-years away. Having passed close to the Sun, Oumuamua suddenly turned around, accelerated to 92 kilometers per second and quickly left the solar system. No signals were received from him. Astronomers had only a few weeks to study Oumuamua before it disappeared from telescope vision forever. And now, more than 5 years later, there is no clear explanation for what they saw. Particularly intriguing is the additional acceleration, which contradicts the laws of gravity. The authors of the report assume the operation of an ion engine in combination with a solar sail. Such unmanned autonomous systems are capable of traveling through the galaxy, accelerating near stars. Interestingly, in the solar system, Oumuamua passed by rocky planets with atmospheres in the habitable zone, particularly close to Earth. The distant and cold gas and ice giants, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune, were bypassed. Red herring. Recently, the Pentagon has been actively promoting the topic of UFOs, which, at the instigation of the military department, is no longer perceived as purely conspiracy theological. Astronomers, physicists and engineers seriously discuss it at scientific conferences. Monographs and articles are published in ranking journals. In March 2022, a special paragraph was added to Section 50 of the U.S. Code requiring the Pentagon to prepare classified reports for Congress on a quarterly basis. In May, hearings on the UFO issue were held for the first time in half a century, and in July, the Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force, UAPTF, was transformed into the AARO, All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, which deals with any anomalous observations in the air, sea and space. Since then, more than 360 investigations have been initiated, about half are balloon-like objects. It is noteworthy that people started talking about Oumuamua as a potential alien ship right now. Although no new data has appeared, the draft report was hastily published immediately after the news about the Chinese balloons. It looks very much like an attempt to divert attention from more important international issues and at the same time demonstrate U.S. leadership in the field of global security. Water hydrogen, iceberg. In a recent paper, UC Berkeley astrochemist Jennifer Bergner and Cornell University astronomer Daryl Seligman proposed a fairly simple natural explanation for the asteroid's unusual properties. Oumuamua could have arisen in the early stages of planet formation near one of the neighboring stars as an icy planetesimal. Gravity threw him out of his system, and he began to travel like a breakaway space iceberg. In interstellar space, H2O molecules were partially dissociated by ionized cosmic rays, forming hydrogen gas, which remained locked in ice. When approaching the Sun, the ice melted and hydrogen was released, giving the object an anomalous acceleration. Oumuamua has the characteristics of a standard interstellar comet that has undergone intensive processing, Jennifer Bergner said in a press release. Experiments confirmed the modeling results. Upon reaching a certain temperature, Hydrogen gas was released like an avalanche from the water-hydrogen ice matrix. Previous theories did not match observations due to the fact that the object was imagined to consist entirely of ice, pure hydrogen, nitrogen or carbon monoxide. The absence of a gas dust coma at Oumuamua is likely due to the fact that hydrogen gas is invisible to optical telescopes, and dust, if there was any, remained inside the ice matrix. To release molecular hydrogen, complete melting is not necessary, a structural restructuring of the ice is sufficient. In addition, the simulation showed that if the asteroid received non-gravitational acceleration from the evaporation of water ice, this would explain only half of the increase in speed, while the emissions of molecular hydrogen fit perfectly into its actual trajectory. The questions still remain. Since 2017, Bergner and her colleagues have identified 6 more similar objects within the solar system, without observable coma and with non-gravitational accelerations. They were called dark comets. In 2031, one of them, 1998 KY26, should be reached by the Japanese Hayabusa 2 mission, which recently collected samples from the asteroid Ryugu. Until recently, 1998 KY26 was also considered an asteroid, but in December 2022 it was reclassified as a comet. Bergner and Seligman argue that all icy bodies exposed to interstellar cosmic rays should look the same. However, 2I, Borisov, which arrived from interstellar space and was discovered in 2019 by Russian amateur astronomer Gennady Borisov, has a gigantic tail of gas and dust and is much more similar to a typical comet of the solar system than to 1I, Oumuamua. In fact, long-period Oort cloud comets are exposed to the same cosmic rays as interstellar objects because they are outside the heliosphere and are not protected by the solar wind. However, all Oort cloud comets have tails, writes a supporter artificial origin Oumuamua Abraham Leb. And as another argument he cites an interesting fact. In September 2020, the same Pan-STARRS telescope that discovered Oumuamua observed an object without a cometary tail, demonstrating the noticeable effect of solar radiation pressure on its orbit. This object, named 2020 SO, turned out to be part of the Centaur upper stage of Surveyor 2, launched by NASA in 1966. Spectroscopic analysis showed that it consists of stainless steel coated with titanium dioxide paint.